Hello everybody. Today figured I'd bring y'all a little video on how to create, say, like a robot or creature vendor in Fallout New Vegas. And I of course am making this video because I couldn't find one on YouTube, and I really couldn't find a whole lot online about how to do this. I could find stuff on how to use an NPC but not use a robot or some sort of creature as a vendor. And it took me a while to figure it out, but after going through the game files and looking at some of these existing characters, I finally figured it out. And I'm going to show you what my hang up was, and hopefully if you're having the same issue, this will fix it for you. I'm going to try to do this as fast as possible. I don't want to make too long of a video. I'm just going to give you the basics on how to do it. We're going to create the vendor from start to finish, show you in game that he's working, and wrap it on up after that, I guess. So the first thing you want to do, of course, is you want to create your NPC or your creature or robot or whatever. So in this case, I'm going to be using one of these Andys here. He's a Mr. Handy named Andy. Yeah, go figure. Why there's 3 of them, I really don't know. I don't think I've ever actually seen an Andy NPC or robot or whatever. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So anyway, what you want to do to start, just double click on him because you're going to edit him. We don't want to use actual Andy, so we're going to go ahead and change his ID to, we'll leave him Andy, but we'll name him like Andy04, which changes his ID. His name will stay Andy. He's essential. Now if you want him to where he can't never die or go away, you want him to maintain, be perpetual, leave him as essential. I usually don't. My thing is if I make a vendor and you're using, say, one of my mods with a vendor in it, well, I say one of my mods, I only got a few. Anyway, and you decide to kill him, you just lose that vendor. Sorry. But anyway, we'll leave him as essential for right now because it don't really matter. You're going to want to change his traits. Okay? So you'll just unclick that box if it's checked, if this is all grayed out. And what I'm doing is I'm getting rid of his voice because I don't want him using the original voice actor's voice. Now, I'm not sure if that would be a big deal or not. I remember hearing, some stuff going down with other creators who ran into issues with that. So we're just going to avoid that altogether, just on the safe side. And we're just going to take his voice away. Now, you do actually have the option, if you wanted to record your own voice for him or your NPC or whatever, you can do that. It gives you that option to do that, which I would probably recommend if you're gonna go that route. If not, just take his voice away. For a generic vendor, I don't really care if he has a voice or not. You know what I mean? So it's fine. All right. So you're gonna go to his stats, and this right here, if you want to beef him up, you can beef him up. You can change all of his stats. You can change his attack damage, etc., etc. It's all kind of self-explanatory there. But what you want to get to is his factions. So this is important if you're putting him in an area where, say, he might not normally get along with the NPCs that are there, and he'll attack them on sight or something like that. If you don't want him to do that, you just simply add him to the faction of the people or the creatures that are around in the area of which that he is in. Right? Okay. And he'll be cool with them. He won't fight him. He won't attack them. Like if it's a Mr. Gutsy or something like that, he won't just run off chasing a Cazador or whatever. Anyway, you want to come over to his AI data. Now this is important because, all right, so mood annoyed. We don't want him annoyed. We want him neutral, right? On his mood neutral. We want him chill. Aggression, unaggressive, but you can make him aggressive like say if somebody's like, if you want to take it farther and say you put him in a store and, well, I don't know if you can, nope, I'm sorry, I take that back. You can't do that with a creature or a robot. But if it's an NPC, for say, and you got some items laying around and you don't want nobody to take them, you want to mark them as owned, you can own them to the NPC. And if you change his aggression to aggressive, if somebody steals it, he'll have, the gumption enough to walk over and be like, take it back. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually, like if they do it again, he'll attack them. But that sort of thing. But you can only do that with an NPC. You can't do that, or at least I haven't found a way to do that with a robot or a creature, because apparently robots and creatures are not allowed to own items. Okay. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling. But aggro behavior, no. You don't want none of that. Because say like it is a Mr. Gutsy or something that's not normally cool with the player. If you have aggro on and you walk in and you get in his little bubble, he'll get angry that you're in his bubble. So you don't want him to have a bubble to get angry about being inside of. So you want to take that away. That way he stays cool. He's neutral, but he's not no pushover. He's aggressive, and it's all good. Same thing here. You want to make sure, his alignment's neutral. He's not, angry or evil or anything. Now, one of the most important parts of this whole thing, and this was my hang up, this is what I could not figure out, because I was trying to use a Mr. Gutsy originally, and I set all of this up the way it's supposed to be set up, like you would normally do an NPC, and for the love of me, I could not get the thing to say anything to me. I could not access the dialogue or anything. What it was is this little check right here that says allow PC dialogue. If you're using a robot or a creature, make sure this little check mark is checked so you can engage in conversation with the thing. If not, you could end up like I did, spending like a couple hours banging my head trying to figure out why it wouldn't work. Rookie mistake. I'm not an expert modder by any means. I wouldn't even call myself a novice, but I like to learn, and this is interesting to me. So to me, it was like I wasn't really mad. It's just a problem that I wanted to solve, and I finally figured it out, and it's this guy right here. This is very important. Otherwise, this whole thing will not work. So make sure that allow PC dialogue is checked. Okay? The other thing, come back here in AI data. This is the other important thing. Right here. These are vendor services, okay? Everything that's here is what he will sell or not sell based off what is checked, okay? You can auto-scale services where the game will assign things to him, or you can do it yourself manually. So for this particular fellow, we're just stim packs, chems. We'll just leave it at that. These here are other services like repair. Like if you want him to be a repairman, which, that's a whole other subject. Recharge, where he can, this is to do with weapons or your ammo, etc., etc. Anyway, or training, like for power armor training. You can teach him to train you in power armor. I digress. This is not what we're covering today, but this is what these are for. Okay. So now that we have him set to where he can sell stuff, which is just a couple things, which is all we're going to get him to do, click OK. Yes. We're going to create a new form. And your new form is right here. Andy04. I'm choosing Andy04. I'll show you why in a minute. Okay. It has to do when you go into a Dropbox and you're looking for this guy. If his name starts with A, he's going to be up at the top, so he's easier to find. And if you start giving your guy extravagant names, you're going to be sitting and scrolling, looking for this guy. So it can get annoying. So for time's sake and just for easiness, we're going to go with Andy. All right. Moving on. Next thing you want to do, you want to take Andy here, and we're going to plop him in the world. So we're going to put, I already got a spot for him. We're going to put him into Nipton Road Marketplace right here. You have to bear with me because I'm working on a single screen. Normally I'm working on a 2 monitor thing. But anyway, so we're just going to go ahead and grab Andy. We're going to drag him over here. Plop. Oh Lord. Okay, so he's in the world. That's pretty much all we need. Make sure he's not like in the floor. Okay, so he's good. Andy is now in the world. All right. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to want to go to vendor chest sell. That right there. Okay. Come over here, turn your light bulb on. Alright. This is all of the vendors that are in the game. This is all their chests. Well, I guess in the base game, not in, this don't include the add-ons. This is just in Vegas for right now. As you can see, there's not a lot of them, and that's why I chose to start making my own, just so I could have some different options. Okay. So what we're going to want to do, and if you look, like I say, it's not a lot, but it's crazy because I'll show you. Okay, I'll show you what I'm talking about. We'll come over here, scroll down, click all. We're going to have to make our own chest, so that's what we're fixing to do. Wait for it to load. All right. Now type in vendor. Ahem. Vendor. All right, chests. There we go. Now, if you notice, there's a lot more here than it is over here. But a lot of these are from Fallout 3, and they don't exist in this game. I'm guessing, like, if you open it up and see what's in them, I'm guessing you could link NPCs to these existing ones. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to make our own today. So let's find one. We'll just say this one, right? Double click on it. Okay. You can go ahead and delete what's in it. And we're going to change the ID to vendor chest Andy's name Andy chest. Okay. Yes, we want to do that. Now let's find his chest, which should be up here, right here. Okay, double click on it. Vendor chest impacts. That's what we want them to sell. I guess it added it in. Okay, so that's fine. We'll just leave one thing in here. Now what you're going to want to do is take this chest, plop it into the world. We're going to drop her down. I mean, you don't have to be all the way down in there. I just kind of like to make sure it's there. Quit. Anyway, okay, that's good. Now, got your chest created. You got your man created. He's in the place where you want him to be. Now, we got to give him some dialogue, right? So, come up here and you're going to go to quests, and you're going to have to get rid of what's in your filter bar, otherwise it won't come up. Okay, so why is that still there? See, it shouldn't be. Anyway, that's from another thing I created a while back. Anyway, so we're going to click new. We're going to give a name, Andy. ID, just Andy. Your priority is going to be 55, and start game enabled. Click okie dokie and go back up to it. Come over here to your topics. Now, first thing you want to do is add a topic. That is going to be your greeting. No, don't want a new one, just want to add one. Come down, greeting, right? And the greeting will be, hello, how are you doing? Okay, this is what the robot is going to say to you when you walk up to him and greet him, right? Next thing you want to do, come down here to this section where it says conditions, okay? And you're going to want to create an exception. And click invalid. That will bring up a drop box that I was talking about. And come down to Andy 04. Okay. Okay. Now, your exception is created. Why are we creating an exception? Because if you don't create an exception that links to your NPC, every NPC within the game will use this line. And of course, if that happens, it's going to mess up their dialogue and their greeting, and you won't be able to access their stuff, and etc., etc. So we're setting this dialogue specifically to our NPC where nobody else can use it. All right. So the next line, we're going to add a topic. Right. Create new. We're going to call it Andy 01A. Okay. Click OK. We're only going to make this like a 3-line little thing. I'm not going to give him a whole. You can make your dialogue whatever you want your dialogue to be, but for dang it. Well, hold on, I'm about to create a new one because apparently I've used that before. Let's see, Andy 03. This is my test cell. I use it just to test things on, so there's probably duplicates there. Anyway, so the new one will be, sure, have a look. And this will be what we use to ask him, do you have anything, I did not spell it right, for sale, right? This will be the prompt. You're going to ask him, do you have anything for sale? Sure, have a look. All right, create your exception. Right, here's your exception. Okay. Okay. Now down here you're going to type show barter menu, because that's what you want this to do, right? This script will cause him to open up his barter menu. Compile script. All right, script's compiled. Exceptions created. Now I've noticed on other people, whenever you create an exception and it listed here, all I get is this little whatever this is. I've seen some where it will list the entire exception on the line, and you can actually copy and paste that exception to your next line or greeting or whatever, where you don't have to use the drop box. My Geck says no, I can't do that. I can't even click on this and copy it, so I have to use the drop box every single time. So don't know what's going on with that. If anybody has an answer for that, that would be great. But if you're stuck like me and you have to add an exception every single time using the drop box, that's why I say kind of keep his name in the A's, B's, and C's. That way it's a little easier to find, so you're not scrolling through a gajillion things for each freaking line. Right? Okay. So we got the greeting and we got the barter. Now we're going to want to get out of the conversation. So just come over here, click on your conversation. We're going to add topic, and we're going to click goodbye. You can come down here to the goodbye. No. Oh, for fudge's sake. Okay. And response will be, okay, see ya. Cancel. Okay. Okay, see ya. The prompt will be, I to go. Right? Create your exception. Again. Right? Okay. The other thing you're going to want to do, no, come back to topics. Click on your greeting. And you're going to want to link. You're going to want to link your lines. No matter how many lines you have here in this conversation, you need to link them all to the greeting. That way they'll show up in the conversation. How you do that? Come over to add topics. Add topics. You're going to find Andy 03. That you just created not that long ago. Yeah, see, that's not supposed to be there. Anyway, Andy 03. Right? And now it's linked. So it'll be in your conversation topics. Okay. So, greeting, barter, right here, and your goodbye. Check it in your dialogue tree real quick. Okay, so it's all there. Everything exists. And okay. And we're done with that. So now, what you're going to want to do is come back up to your store. Right? And then you're going to want to click on your guy. Right? Double click. It's going to bring up this. Go to Edit Base. No, I'm wrong. Sorry. Don't go to Edit Base. Go to Merchant Container. My bad. All right. Merchant Container is going to be in the vendor world, the vendor chest cell. And the reference is going to be vendor chest. Where'd he go? Oh, crap. You know what I didn't do? See? See? Okay. Go back. I don't think I'd... Go back to the vendor chest cell. You're going to find this guy. Double click it. Persistent reference. I'm sorry. This is Andy's chest. Vendor chest Andy. Make sure this box is clicked. Has to be clicked. I'm sorry. I missed that. Okay. Once that box is clicked, then go back to your guy. Double click him again. Then go back to merchant container, of course, vendor sale. Right? And then, there it is. If you don't click that little box, it won't show up in this box. That's my bad. I forgot to do that. But this is why, you know, it's right here. Click on that. That's his cell. That's his chest. Check. Persistent reference check. Okay. Now he has his stuff. Now he has his dialogue. He's in his world. He's able to talk. He has his chest. He has his stuff to sell. So you're going to save it and send it. Right? Come in here. Enable it. I should have disabled it, but I didn't. And go into the game. Alright, here we are. I'm at Nipton Road pit stop store, whatever. There's our guy. There's Mr. Andy. Talk to him. Hey, how you doing? Great. Do you have anything for sale? Sure, have a look. And there's the stim packs that we put into his inventory. So that's what he's able to sell. So anything that you put inside his box, providing that you checked it into his character traits or AI data, actually, those little boxes I showed you earlier, as long as all of those are checked, that's what he can sell. If they're not checked, he won't be able to sell certain things that you put into his inventory. So you just got to remember that. Like, if you don't check stim packs and you want him to sell stim packs and you put stim packs into his inventory, it won't show up because he's not allowed to sell it. You have to authorize it. Anyway, so that's the vendor. That's Mr. Andy. Okay, see you. And that's how you do that. So, I hope this helped somebody, because it sure would have helped me. And I know the video is not exactly perfect, but at least it'll give you a good enough guide of how to deal with it. So thank you for stopping by the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, and we'll see you in the next one. Good night.